Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jessica OS. Let's talk about something that a lot of older men don't always realize they need to hear. Maybe you're in your 40s, 50s, or even 60s. You've experienced life, built something for yourself, probably survived some heartbreaks too. Then out of nowhere, a younger woman enters the picture. Bright, energetic, a little untamed, maybe even unpredictable. And for whatever reason, she starts giving you attention, not just surface level chatter, but real interest. And suddenly, whether you're aware of it or not, you feel something awaken in you. You feel young again. It's flattering, it's energizing, and it's exactly when a lot of men start slipping up without even knowing it. You see, something very particular happens when an older man is drawn toward a younger woman. He starts forgetting who he is. He forgets that his years, his pain, his progress, all of that is what gives him strength. But under that rush of emotion, that thrill of attention, he starts shifting. He begins toning himself down, reshaping his edges, trying to squeeze into her life instead of standing tall on his own. And the second he does that, the roles reverse. She stops viewing him as a man and starts seeing just a guy. A guy trying too hard, trying to win her over, trying to play catch up. And just like that, the spark dies. This video isn't about pointing fingers. It's about giving you the clarity to protect your self-worth, your masculinity, and your dignity. Because temptation doesn't always come with warning signs. Sometimes it looks like admiration. Sometimes it looks like connection. But how you respond makes all the difference. We're going to cover what not to do when you're dealing with a younger woman, and how a grounded, centered man would handle it all in a completely different way. These aren't just dating tips. They're strategies for how to show up as a man in any area of life. If you're done feeling confused, led on, or knocked off balance by someone who hasn't even lived half the life you have, this message might be exactly what you need. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll see exactly where most men trip up, and how doing less, not more, puts you back in control. First, don't try to match her age. You're not supposed to be her peer. A very common mistake older men make when they get involved with younger women is trying to downplay their maturity. You'll see guys start talking like her, dressing like her, pretending to be into the same media or lingo she follows. It usually starts from a genuine place. They just want to connect. But what actually happens? They end up losing the very thing that made them attractive in the first place. The minute you act like her buddy, instead of standing in your full masculine presence, she no longer sees the grounded, secure man. She sees someone trying to keep up. And trust me, women, especially young ones, can sense it. They have a strong radar for what's real. When you start trying to fit in to her world, it doesn't feel cool to her. It feels like insecurity. But here's the truth. Your age isn't a weakness. It's what sets you apart. You've walked through seasons she hasn't even imagined yet. You carry a certain stillness, a certain gravity. That's the pull, not your ability to name her favorite influencer. So don't chase her pace. Let her race around in her youth, and you stay grounded, solid, unrushed. If you're on a date and she brings up someone half your age who's blowing up on TikTok, you don't have to pretend to care. Just smile and say, I don't follow trends much. I prefer conversations that leave a real mark. That right there, that's power. That's intrigue. Not because you're trying to match her world, but because you're reminding her you're not of it. Next, don't become her emotional sponge. Another trap older men fall into is becoming the dumping ground for a younger woman's feelings. It starts off innocent. She opens up, maybe talks about her ex, her past trauma, or how lost she feels. You listen and offer support, and it feels like you're building a strong connection. But soon you're her therapist, her 3 a.m. call, her emotional life raft. And deep down, you might think this means she trusts you, that she's growing attached. But let me be real with you. That's not attraction. That's outsourcing her emotional mess onto you. You're not building romance. You're holding her emotional baggage. And the more you absorb, the more invisible you become as a man. She'll tell you about her crushes, her mistakes, her chaos, and none of it will bring her closer to you. In fact, it creates distance because she starts seeing you as a support system, not a romantic partner. A grounded man doesn't absorb chaos. He stays steady. He listens without becoming entangled. He speaks wisdom without tying his identity to the outcome. If she calls crying, you don't try to fix everything. You calmly say, "Sounds like you're going through something. I hope you find the clarity you need." That sentence, it draws a boundary without closing the door. It's the difference between presence and emotional attachment. And that's what makes a woman respect you. Let's move on. Don't chase her validation. This one's subtle, but it ruins everything. Older men sometimes end up seeking approval from a younger woman without realizing it. They look for signs that she still likes them, over-explain themselves, or compliment her constantly in hopes of being affirmed. And no matter how mature you are, if your energy starts saying, "Please approve of me," she senses it. And she pulls away because women can feel when the power dynamic shifts. And if she feels like you're orbiting her opinion, the attraction fades. A confident man doesn't chase reactions. He doesn't need a response to feel validated. If she's interested, great. If she's not, that's fine too. His worth isn't dependent on how she feels today. Let me give you a quick picture. She leaves your message unread. An insecure man might double text, send a joke, or try to get her attention again. A centered man, he does nothing. Not because he's playing games, but because he has a life. He's not waiting around for approval. And that very silence, that composure, that's what makes her stop and think, why isn't he chasing me like other guys do? And suddenly you're the one she starts thinking about. Next point, don't try to impress. Learn to lead. There's a massive difference between showing off and showing up. A lot of older men think they have to flash their achievements, brag about their success, or drop hints about their lifestyle to win a younger woman. But real attraction doesn't come from performance. It comes from presence. Trying to impress comes from a fear of not being enough. But leading is grounded. You don't talk about being a man. You show it through your choices, through your calm, through your curiosity. You don't need to say, "I've got it together." She feels it by the way you carry yourself. Think about this. You're at dinner. Instead of rattling off your resume, you lead the night with ease. You order without hesitation. You make space for her thoughts. You stay off your phone. You're present, engaged, and unshaken. And that energy, that's what stays with her long after the conversation ends. Here's another truth. Don't project the future onto her. You've been talking to her for a few weeks. Things are going well, and your mind starts wandering, imagining what life could be like. You start picturing vacations, introducing her to friends, maybe even settling down. But here's the danger. You're falling in love with a fantasy, not a person. Stoic men don't do that. They stay present. They enjoy what's real. They don't invest in potential. They invest in proof. Because once you start projecting a whole relationship onto someone who's still revealing who they are, you lose sight of reality. And when she doesn't match that picture, you're crushed. But it wasn't her fault. It was your illusion. A mature man slows down. He stays curious, not committed. He doesn't write the ending of the story when the first chapter just started. Don't let yourself become her backup plan. This one hurts the most. Sometimes a younger woman keeps an older man around as her safe option. She talks to him when she's down. She opens up when her dates fail. She calls him when she's bored, and he thinks, maybe eventually she'll choose me. But the truth is, she already has, and you weren't it. You're not her priority. You're her comfort zone, her filler, her, just in case. And the longer you stay in that role, hoping it'll turn into something more, the more you lose yourself. A grounded man doesn't play that part. He doesn't cling to someone who treats him like a convenience. He knows his value, and if he's not chosen fully, he steps away, silently and completely. Don't let her crisis become your mission. This last one is critical. Never give up your life path for a woman, especially one who's still figuring herself out. When you stop showing up for your goals, your discipline, your vision, just to make yourself more available, you lose your edge, your strength fades, your purpose becomes blurry, and the very thing that once attracted her is gone. A stoic man never abandons his mission. He doesn't compromise his growth for a connection. He knows his path comes first, and if she wants to walk beside him, that's great, but he's not changing direction to meet her halfway, because he's already going somewhere. And that's what makes her respect him. So let me leave you with this. Being an older man in the presence of a younger woman is not a weakness. It's a test of your patience, of your wisdom, of your ability to stay true to who you are. You don't have to become anyone else. You don't have to prove, perform, or impress. You simply have to remember who you are. You've earned your stripes, you've paid the price, and now you stand calm, still, strong. She'll either rise to meet you there, or keep moving. But either way, you never lose your balance. You never lose your purpose. And that's what makes you unforgettable. If this message resonated, let me know in the comments. What's the one mistake you now see clearly? And if you're ready to master not just dating but your inner world, subscribe. Because this journey has only just begun.